Hey, Rob from More Than 42 here, and today we're going to be talking about Army of the Dead. That's right, Zack Snyder's new film, out in theaters and on Netflix. So, yeah, let's talk about it. Army of the Dead, directed by Zack Snyder, is about a group of mercenaries that takes the ultimate gamble by venturing into the quarantine zone of Las Vegas for the greatest heist ever, all during a zombie outbreak. There are people out there that are huge Zack Snyder fans, and I wouldn't even pretend to try to convince anyone that they shouldn't see a movie or that a movie's not worthy of your attention. But Army of the Dead is, wow, it's just bloated and it's nuts, and in a lot of ways doesn't even make any sense. Now, before I go into all the stuff that I'm not a fan of, let's talk about some of the stuff that they did well. And I gotta say, I think the movie itself, for the most part, technically, is really well done. The cinematography is, in some cases, just jaw-droppingly beautiful. So, you can tell that the budget is definitely smaller than what Zack Snyder usually is involved with, but I mean, for the most part, I think it's really done well. The CGI is top notch. In fact, the character that Tig Notaro plays, the pilot, she replaced Christy Elliott, after principal photography was already completed, because of all the troubles he's been in with. And I'm amazed because it looks like she's there. It looks like she was there the whole time. And yeah, it's I think most people wouldn't have even been able to tell. There's no way most people would be able to tell. And that's some impressive stuff. I think Tig Notaro is probably the best part of the movie. So I would say if you didn't know who she was before, look her up. She's a great comedian, and I think she's hilarious, and yeah, she's worthy of the attention. And I'm actually glad to see her in a role like this because, I mean, she like I said, she really fit in well, and yeah, it was great. But unfortunately, it's kind of where the good stops, at least for me. I think number one, I'm sitting here talking about the cinematography. I gotta say, I hate the constant, super out of focus bokeh stuff that they've got going on in this movie. There's some extreme close-ups, and I mean, it's like a lot of the movie is just out of focus, and it's almost like it doesn't even seem intentional. Like some of it seems like, oh, did you guys not have the right lens that day or something? Because it looks bad. I mean, I'm sure, Zach would say that he, it was some sort of artistic, expression that he's trying to do or what. Look, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's distracting and it's constant, and that's annoying. And this is another thing where I kind of feel like this is probably a personal opinion, so take that with a grain of salt. But the covers of old songs just thrown in there all the time. It just needs to stop. Dude, I mean, there's too many. And it just gets annoying and distracting. One of the things that happened kind of at the beginning of the movie, there's actually some social commentary being done. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh. Okay. What Zach actually has something to say here. Okay. Where's this going to go?" Nowhere. It goes nowhere. And I just don't understand why bring it up. To build on that, there are so many story threads that are introduced and then forgotten about. There's so many. There's no explanation. So it's just like characters come and go, and you're like, wait a minute, what happened? Wait, so we spent all this time looking for this person. What's going on? What's going on here? I just don't get it. I think probably one of my least favorite things about the movie is that there is a story element that is introduced that really affects everything. It changes everything. And the characters barely blink. And I'm like, really? Really? Because that's not, it at that point, it just became like, okay, I just want everyone to die. Can everyone die, please? I don't know. I feel like I'm just super ragging on this movie. I think it's overlong. It's super bloated. It's just super bloated with a bunch of stuff and time that just doesn't need to be spent. There's characters that, we don't really care about, and then there are like little things that are brought up and it's like, oh, okay, so we're supposed to care. Okay, they're gone. Okay. So it's just weird. It's just weird how uneven it is, and I just found myself just completely detached from what I was watching. Now that's not to say that there isn't fun to be had. And you might think, well, Rob, everything you just said doesn't sound like you liked any of it. There was parts of it that I was like, okay, that was kind of cool. You know, and that's the problem, is that there's a lot of cool ideas, but none of it works together, and none of it seems like it's just incoherent at times. And I think that's my biggest issue with it. As I said, I think a lot of Zack Snyder fans will probably really find a lot to like. In fact, I think zombie fans, fans of zombie movies, they're probably going to enjoy a lot about this. I just want a little more from my movie experience. So I'm not even sure if a rating matters at this point. Because I think if you've seen the trailer, if you've seen anything about this movie, whether you're gonna watch it or not. But I mean, for a rating, I'm just gonna give it a 2.5 out of 4. To me, it is not recommended. Of course, if you have Netflix and you got nothing else to watch, I mean, you could probably watch worse. I just, I want more for Zack Snyder. The weird thing about it is that even though I'm not a fan of a lot of his movies, I'm a fan of him. I'm a fan of him as a creator. I like his swagger. I like his attitude. I like the fact that he seems to be having a blast, and the actors seem to have a blast too. I just I just wish there were better movies. So yeah, that's probably enough ranting for the day. I'm kind of curious if you've seen Army of the Dead, what you thought about it. And maybe for some reason my review makes you want to watch it. Leave your comments down below and we'll discuss it. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.